What's up, YouTube? Alex Rose here, kicking off a very special partnership with Hercules DJ for their new controller meant for novice DJs, the Inpulse 300. And you can see a little video of me screwing around with the Impulse earlier today, trying to get the ropes of it. And this whole series that I'm about to take you on over the next couple videos, sorry for the mad focus problems with my mic here. This whole series is going to be about how to improve as a novice DJ and get to the level of a professional so that you're not embarrassing yourself in club gigs or whatever, regardless of where you're playing, whether you're still in your mom's basement, whether you're playing parties with your buddies, whatever it is. If you want to get into DJing, this is going to be the seminal video series to get you there. But if we don't know each other already, as you may have guessed, I'm Alex Rose, and I'm a DJ and producer out of Canada, and my whole goal is making dance music more accessible, whether that be to audiences, to DJs and producers, or to anyone else. And as you can see, I'm repping the merch today. Got my Alex Rose official hat, which you can pick up yourself over at my store. Just head over to DJalexrose.com, and you can get this as well as a whole other assortment of merch. I'm super excited about these new baseball tees that you can get. They look really sick. I'll throw a picture up, and I think we might still have a tiny bit of a sale going on. It's kind of like the Black Friday sale that will never end. May still be going on. I don't know. Check it out for yourself. If not, then you may have to cop one for the holidays to give over to one of the homies who watches. And if you do, we need to come up with a name for people who watch this channel who are part of Club Rose. I'm gonna guess. My suggestion is to call you guys Rosiers, since that's where the name Rose comes from. Comes from the surname in French, which, by the way, if you didn't know, I am French, which makes me basically part of my French. So anyways, yeah, if you can think of anything, leave it in the comments after you leave a like, and let me know what you think we should be called. Anyways, I'm going to talk about my experience in this video as a DJ, what I would have wished I'd known when I started out, when I was using a controller like the Impulse 300. I've used a bunch of different controllers throughout my time, including Hercules controllers, and I'm going to share with you the 5 tips to get you from novice to club show ready. Okay, so although I started to learn to produce dance music much earlier, I actually didn't touch a jog wheel on a controller until like October 2016, around there, fall 2016. And that was when a friend of mine offered to sell me his Hercules DJ Compact controller. I forget what it was called exactly. I think it was DJControl Compact, something like that. Man, this thing is going absolutely nuts. I'm not sure why that is. Anyways, my priority at the time was to learn the fundamentals of DJing, like yours probably are. And, you know, just to learn the feel and everything of DJing, really, it's a super tactile activity. And so it's not just enough to understand the theory behind it, which I did when I went in. I have a very extensive music theory background. It was to understand the physical movements. And that kind of goes into the first tip, which I'll give you right away at the start of the video. It's to practice DJing as much as possible. Practice, practice, practice. So after that freebie, that first one, you'll get the other 4 tips after the intro. Okay, now that you're back with me, we're gonna go straight into the second tip, and my webcam isn't doing any better with this focus stuff. Anyways, after a couple months of using the Compact, I'm getting a feel for what it's like to adjust the EQ knobs, the faders, the jog wheels. I realized the biggest thing I was missing in my education was a teacher. So that's probably why you're watching this video right now, is because you want to get some level of education, some kind of teaching to help you along in this process. But I really can't recommend enough to get a mentor. So in 2017, I started regularly visiting my friend Nick. He had a big ass controller at his place, so I played on that a bunch. I learned and I just drastically improved. I mean, it was like night and day. In maybe 3 months, I felt like I learned all of the basics to about intermediate in a very short amount of time. And Nick was able to coach me on things like song selection and beat matching and transition techniques and all these kind of advanced things with EQing that I hadn't thought about. In fact, a lot of the knowledge that I shared today, like in this video, was from those sessions with Nick early on. So, learning number 2 is to seek feedback and coaching wherever possible. More experienced DJs like myself are really willing to give their insights and help out guys who are coming up and learning the craft as we love it. So after about 9 months of that, I started playing club shows. Now I know this is what a lot of you guys want to do and what you're looking for. And this is where I realized the second major gap I had in my knowledge. And so what I'd recommend is that you do this now before you get to that point where you're in the club. The fact is that a lot of these DJ controllers marketed to novices, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but they focus heavily on features that don't actually exist on professional equipment, right? So you're playing on professional standard club equipment when you go into a club, and they'll give you a lot of shit, honestly, if you play on a controller in a club. So do not do that. Play on their equipment. But like I said, a lot of controllers marketed towards you guys will have all these weird features and special things and knobs that are doing stuff that aren't on the professional equipment. Now, again, I'm not, this video is made in partnership with Hercules for a reason, is because their controller actually helps you get to that level of using club equipment rather than stunting you with these weird features. So learning 3 is don't rely on controller features that don't exist on professional equipment unless they actually help you learn the standard equipment better. Another major learning I had around this time was that you cannot plan out your sets. It's a no-no. The first couple club shows I played, I went in thinking, I need everything planned. I need all my transitions. This is when I'm going to go from this song to this song. And if you ever miss a transition as a result of that, then you freak out, right? Everything is just messing up. You don't know what to do. You'll lack the agility needed as a DJ to be prepared for situations like your USB corrupting, which has happened to me. This is why every mix I post on this channel and is post anywhere else, anything that is a mix by Alex Rose is freestyle. Even my Veld mix, which I think is one of my most complicated mixes, is still freestyle. Learning how to freestyle mix has massive benefits, like massive, especially in case you need to DJ new music. In fact, this happened to a friend of mine, Ridge, who's an awesome DJ, just a couple weeks ago. He was opening for Jaws, and Jaws last minute, his manager phoned up Ridge and said, by the way, you can't play any bangers. Any popular music is a no-go. You have to just play kind of like low-key tech house that no one's ever kind of heard of, because we don't want you priming them too much for Jaws. So he all of a sudden had to throw it what he had planned and freestyle it, and he still killed it. So that's my huge recommendation to you guys. Learning 4, always freestyle your mixes as much as possible. Okay, last major learning coming at you. I've been trying to keep this video quick because I know you guys just want to cut straight to the info, straight to the advice. Okay, so last learning I have is surrounding beat matching. Like most starter DJs, I thought there's absolutely no reason I need to learn manual beat matching. I mean, the sync button exists. That's what it's for, right? The sync button. You don't need to learn beat. But there's 2 major issues with this attitude. First, sync's only really good when all your songs in your mix are around the same tempo, let's say like 120 to 128. Second is that you're pretty screwed if your software misanalyzes the beat grid, right? So if it accidentally thinks the and is the 1, or something that's like 130 gets analyzed as 150 because it's got a weird triplet pattern going on or something, which again has happened to me. It happened to me where I mixed into a song, I think it was Humble by Kendrick Lamar, and my, actually it was the club equipment, thought that it was at 130 when it's actually at 150, and so somehow I mixed into it, and I had to figure out how to mix out. Now thankfully, I'm a good enough DJ that at that point I was totally able to, and I could just use my ears to manually set it right. So, I mean, that worked out pretty well for me, but could screw you over. finally, if you've ever had to DJ on equipment that doesn't have sync, like, you're screwed, right? So this happened to me while I was playing on a radio show. They had very old equipment, and there was no sync, and there was also no visual beat. Very, very strange. It's not common on new equipment, but as a result, I had to do the entire set just beat matching by ear, both in terms of the beat grid, so making sure I'm staying on grid, as well as tempo itself. So that's another reason that the Inpulse is really fantastic. Not only does it have visual indicators to match your ears, to train your ears on when the beat is misaligned, but also has visual indicators for tempo. It does have a sync button, but I highly, highly recommend that you don't use it and that you try to train your ears by looking at those visual indicators. That's the best way to go about it. And I tried them out this morning, and they're really spot on. So like I said, these are my 5 top tips, the things that I wish I had learned as a novice DJ going into the scene. Would have accelerated my growth really fast. And I'm super excited that I'm partnered with Hercules on this series, because like I said, they were my first controller coming into the game, and honestly, I wish that this Inpulse 300 had existed when I had started, because it's such a great tool to get you on board with a lot of the learnings that are going to be beneficial later on when you're playing those big club shows. Finally, if you want to support the channel, there's a couple easy things that you can do. So one is you can go to my Instagram and engage with the content there. Help me, I know that there's not a lot of alignment between my following there and you guys on the YouTube. You guys are much more international, whereas my Instagram is much more local. I'd like those two worlds to kind of come together, show some love there so that the rest of my local fans can kind of see what's going on Club Rose or Rosier or whatever you guys want to call yourself. The other thing you can do is you can go buy merch like these hats, these dope hats. I got a couple of them myself. And there's also shirts, there's like these, like I said, these super dope baseball tees that I just got, and I think they look really sick. Worldwide shipping, I believe. And yeah, that's like a very tangible way to support the channel very feasibly, and you get something for it. So I think that's probably the best way. If you want kind of other weird benefits, I don't know why I'd say that. Anyways, if you want other benefits, go ahead and check out the Patreon. You can get things like full high quality downloads to all my releases, and I've got a couple more coming up soon, so that's a good time to jump on that, as well as my mashups and things like that. So anyways, that's enough of me promoting my own shit. If you're interested in learning more about Hercules' new Inpulse 300, there's going to be a link down below, as well as to that Veld mix I referenced, so you can get an understanding of what advanced multi-genre mixing sounds like. There will be 2 more videos in this series, one out on Wednesday most likely, and then one on the weekend, I believe. One is going to be me showing how you can record a mix on the Inpulse 300 so that you can upload them to YouTube or Mixcloud, like the ones that I've uploaded, which have, I think my most popular one has 140,000 plays now, so that's something that gave you some more exposure. It's been really beneficial to me for me to post these mixes online. And then the last one is going to be an in my mindset, which I did on my Instagram as well. So again, another reason to follow the Instagram, which I did on my Instagram, and it's basically going to be what I'm thinking about while I'm DJing, just so that you can kind of, try to steal some of the little things I'm doing. Great, this has been Alex Rose, and as always, happy dancing.